Hello, welcome back. It's been a second. I've been in journalistic mode, okay? If you head on over to my Substack, I just posted an entire essay about the digital space, overconsumption, 90s nostalgia, Y2K nostalgia. It was a really, really fun, eye-opening piece to write about AI as well, and its profound and terrifying impact on our brain, our neural linguistic capabilities. So yeah, if you would like to go see that, please go check it out on my Substack. Desktop is always favorable. For those of you who are not a fan of reading, I got you. There's visuals all through this, and I've also done an audio narration for the whole thing, which has, little tidbits to keep you interested, because I really do think this is an important article or essay to read, especially if you're really plugged in. I think it's important even for, say, parents and things to just get a little bit of a rundown on what's going on in the digital space that your children are being affected by. So yeah, please go and read that if you want to. I actually came up with the whole article while watching the Miuccia Prada and Raf Simons men's Spring-Summer 2026 show in Milan. And yeah, the soundscape in particular, which I mentioned in this article by Frederic Sanchez, really just got my brain ticking, and that's how you can tell that he's just such an incredible sound designer, producer, because he makes you think. I think there's no way that you can sit, whether you're into music or not, and watch that show without listening to the music and really having it spark some ideas in your brain. Not the same ideas for everyone, but for me it was really reminiscent of this push and pull that we face between the digital and physical world, and with the natural world and development and progression. In the article here I wrote AI versus reality, fear versus progression. Who are we? Who have we become? Who have we become after being bombarded with all this information that seems to have no end? If you do want to go look at that, I'd really appreciate it. But today, because this was such a journalistic venture and a lot of research, and it just really consumed my time and energy, I wanted to do something a little bit more intuitive, a little bit more sit down, a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more off the cuff kind of journalistic behavior. Writing this essay, the reason why I bring it up in this video, one, because I feel like it'd be cool to get some more readers on it, but two, because it really opened up a can of worms for me and made me start thinking about everything, every kind of world that we're exposed to, including the art and fashion world, and how those things are shifting with the terrain. I feel like we're in a stage now where we're all standing on these tectonic plates that are shaking and moving and cracking beneath our feet, and we're trying to find some stable ground. That's how I feel like I can visualize it. And I also think what I referenced in this particular article was, in terms of the digital space, it's as if we've all gone from being in our immediate circles and not really having such direct access to other people's lives, to moving into what could appear to be a glass house where every wall is a window and everyone outside is watching you, and there's just strangers constantly outside your house watching you, taking note of what you're doing, trying to learn bits and pieces of your life. It's really scary, and to remove yourself from the digital scape completely is kind of impossible now, because they've made everything digital. We're talking QR codes, the way you pay your bills, moving towards a cashless society. I mean, these things are put in place for a reason, to keep you very much under the surveillance of the digital space and all that comes with it, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's the wild, wild west, baby. Anyway, today I have a paper like this of notes in front of me. This is basically my mind map. What I do every so often is I draw what is unoriginally called for me a mind map, and it's basically where I write down all of my ideas that I have for every facet of what I do. Being multidisciplinary, I think it's really important to have one of these to keep track of your projects, because usually there's a lot of them happening simultaneously. So today we're going to talk about fashion culture and how that's been shifting. I've been obviously in the mood to talk about the digital space a lot, so that is what we'll be running with today. And yes, so sit back, relax. We're going to be talking about the poetry of personal style. I'm going to begin this by talking about overconsumption. Overconsumption really shifts with what is coming into popularity in the culture, what has really been spotlit. The digital space has really amplified certain things in fashion, like micro trends, for example, to wear these things to death until the next micro trend comes around, and then we're dumping that and moving on to the next thing, and then we're obsessed with something and move on to the next. And this culture is not just in fashion, but it has transferred onto celebrities, that celebrity culture where it's chew you up, spit you out. We love you for a second, now we'll find a reason to hate you, and you're done. On to the next. Let's find our next victim in this cycle. And I really think this has a lot to do with the fact that social media has really shortened our attention spans. We favor short form content. How that translates into our everyday lives is we like quick dopamine hits. We like things to happen fast. We don't want to wait. We don't like loading screens. We don't like things that are going to reward us in time. We do want to strive for things, of course, that benefit us in the future, and all of us have dreams and goals in that aspect. However, I think it's a lot more excruciating for us, particularly the younger generations who have been raised on social media. Most of them, I think that the whole concept of being raised by social media is terrifying, and something needs to happen about that, but that is, individual terrain. I think, especially for the younger generation, it's so excruciating to, one, sit in solitude with no devices. That has become not normal. There's a video by Sarah Davis Parker that encompasses this so well, and it's "The Internet Used to Be a Place." I reference her in my article, and it's the fact that the internet really did used to be a place. We used to physically even keep the computers in a separate room, whereas now we keep them in our back pocket. Mine's right here. I've got another one in front of me. There's a TV over there. There's a computer in there. We're cornered by all of these devices, which is kind of alarming to think about when you think about how they do listen and retract data from our everyday lives. So yeah, wanting things fast, wanting things to happen right away, and it being excruciating to be in solitude. Without devices, it feels so loud, it feels so overwhelming, overstimulating. And it's funny that solitude and silence feels that way, and yet us scrolling online usually doesn't feel so much like that. We can get overwhelmed and doom scroll and feel really depressed or have all of these things come up, but it's just not the same. It's really shifted and done the complete opposite, and it's really scary how it just goes against everything that should come naturally to us and the ways in which we should live naturally. And that's why so many mental health issues are more common these days, because we're really not living in alignment with our core needs as human beings, as a species. But that is a whole other topic in and of itself. But as I said, things are quick. So that contributes to that culture of loving something 1 second and then needing to get rid of it the next for something else. And that contributes to an economy that's just not circular. As the internet has evolved and as we've evolved with it, things just turn into trends. It doesn't matter if it's de-influencing or whether it's, let's recycle, It always turns into a trend, falls into the trend basket. And that's where it's dangerous, because trends have an end. It's not a constant. It's kind of like go away, come back, go away, come back. So it's like 1 minute it'll be trendy to reuse, rewear. Next minute it'll be trendy to overconsume, and then we'll come back. And all of this is just like fixing, destruction, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So in that regard, it can be really hard. I think it's really interesting. I think it depends on the person. I personally love following people that you can tell that that is their own style. And I think to some degree, to find a personal style that is so unique to you and you can tell straight away, you need to have that separation. If you don't have that separation from the online world, you're filling up all of your mental hard drive with content and consumption, so much so that it's too full by the time you come to wanting to create your own ideas, your own identity. And the more you associate yourself with this side, the more your identity that exists over here will transmute into that, and then that will become your overall identity. And that's where we can forget who we are, what we love, what we don't love, and we just fall into pixels basically that get recycled into the system. So on ABC iView, there was a great bit of journalism on teens and the effect of filters, digital filters online, and just online influence. And they took pictures of them and basically said, you have 5 minutes to doctor these photos to make yourself appear more beautiful to you, or what you think would get more likes on social media.
Your task is to edit your photographs in a way that you think would get you more likes on social media. All right, cool. We've got 5 minutes.
The aims of the demonstration is to see, when young people are given these editing apps, how they would manipulate those images and what they think would be most attractive.
Oh, why do I look like that?
Did I just hear you say, oh my God? What's wrong?
Everything. Just looking at it.
These girls are so young. You can tell they're just in their most impressionable years, and this is the kind of impact that the digital space is having on them. So I think there's a really widespread issue here, and it's more than just overconsumption, and that being one of them. And that's why it's something that I do talk about from time to time, where I say, you know, if you want to get things done, and I mean, wait until you are the right age to get things done. I personally wouldn't recommend getting things done, mind you, this is just my opinion, until you are fully developed. It's just got to be something that feels really right to you. You know you're mature enough to make that decision and not fall back on it. And you know that you're doing it for the right reasons. As I always say, go off social media for an extended period of time. Don't touch it, don't log in. If in that time you suddenly realize, oh, I don't think I actually need that done, or I don't feel as strongly about it anymore, it's a good indication that you are being kind of subconsciously and consciously influenced to go that way, to feel like that was necessary for you to do. So I just think I'm not against getting things done at all. I'm just all for being extremely mindful about it and also mature enough to make those decisions, because yeah, things do change. Things really do change, and digital media does affect us more than I feel like we realize it does a lot of the time. And I speak from experience in that, growing up in the era of Tumblr, and when Instagram just arrived. It wasn't always a thing when Instagram was new and fresh, and we had YouTube back in the OG days. I mean, this is totally new, what we're working with. Also, the AI whole scenario of that getting better by the day, it's really new. It's really new, it's really fresh, it's really scary. Take the Labubus, for example. I think it's great to like things. It's great to, if you want to collect. I used to collect Littlest Pet Shops when I was little, and there are certain things that I love too, but I think it can become strange when it's kind of unleashed and you go, one thing I found with social media is it's always extremes that we're playing with. It's not just, I like this. It's like, I have to have this, and if I don't have this, I'm going to freak out. And you see it, like with the Labubus, people absolutely losing it if they don't get the one they want, or if they get a fake. These kids absolutely like freaking out that their parents got them a fake, what are they called, Lafufus? A more extreme version of this is, for example, remember when Instagram had to post a public apology because there was all of this violent, really terrible, horrific, graphic media that was leaking all over Instagram and it was all over everyone's feeds. They fixed the issue, but there are still like dark web clips and all kinds of creepy videos and really disturbing videos going through. And same with TikTok, you can find this stuff trickling down anywhere. It's out there for those who want to seek it. And from time to time, it does come back into the mainstream where kids are watching it. And the most scary part for me personally is the fact that you'll see something absolutely horrific. Like totally graphic, really mature content, really messed up stuff. Scroll once and you'll see puppies, or you'll see a meme, you'll see something funny. Those are the extremes that we're playing with. And that has translated into everything, into art, into fashion, into everything that gets displayed through the media, everything that people share. It really shows in human behavior as well, particularly children who have been born into this world of social media and they don't know anything before that. We're seeing the outbursts become so much more severe. The changes in mood become so much more snappy and drastic. And I really think this has strong connections to how drastic the online space is, how it flicks from one side to another. It'll show you something horrific and then it'll show you something funny. It'll show you something super, super sad. It'll show you something super, super happy. And it's always these extremes. And that's what's been born into the culture as well. Will love someone, absolutely idolize someone, treat someone like a god. Next minute, they're in the trash. Quick as that. They don't even have to do anything. Things will be orchestrated. It'll just happen. And that's what we're playing with fashion as well. We're seeing all of these trends that explode in a huge way that I remember growing up myself when Instagram was relatively new and trends were starting to become a thing. There was space to like something, dislike something, be in the middle, but now it's like these drastic, I love this, I need to have this or else, and then I hate this, it's done, it's old, it's not good anymore. There was trends going around of people hating on other people's style, hating on what they like, what they don't like, what they wear, what they don't wear, and it's really, really dangerous, especially for impressionable youth who are just trying to find themselves. And how are you supposed to know who you are when you are absolutely sucked into this digital world? And that's why I think space from this life is so important. Another reference from my essay, this kind of whole video references in some way the essay, but I'm bringing it more back to fashion, or eventually will. We need separation to find ourselves, to ask these questions of who we are when we're not answering to this machine that we are pouring ourselves into, that we're constantly creating for. When do we just create for ourselves? And that's something that is really difficult to contend with, because you always feel like something has to be for something these days, because that's how it is. If you are plugged into social media, it feels almost like you are constantly having to perform in some way. And the performances can be authentic. Just because you are performing in some way doesn't mean it's inauthentic, but still we are performing. And what I referenced in my essay is the Hawthorne effect, which is basically the behavior of people when they know they're being monitored, watched. Let me find the reference of this because I think it's really important to bring up. You can find all the references to this in the actual article, but studies conducted in the 1920s and 1930s at Hawthorne Works saw employees altering their behavior for the simple fact that they knew they were being monitored. It's said that these shifts in behavior often result in short-term boosts in performance, though it's natural to wonder what would happen after those short-term boosts have worn off and the surveillance continues. We're always feeling like we're being watched. Even at home, we've got some people have their Google Home, their Alexa, or their Siris, or their Google Assistants, or their Geminis, their Chat GPTs. There's always someone to answer to, really. Other than, when are we going to answer to ourselves without all of this other noise around us? And the sad fact is that a lot of people, and a growing number of people, will not answer to themselves ever in their lives because they've never facilitated that space for themselves. It's no longer a natural thing. It's something that we have to create for ourselves. And it's so incredibly important that we do, because falling down this trap is really, it's a spiral. It's a slippery slope. It's very hard to get out of. And it really is like any other addiction. It is point blank an addiction, period. And addictions are hard. There are withdrawals. There are all kinds of weird things that show up that we wouldn't even think are associated with our addiction to technology, but they are associated. They are interlinked, and it's, yeah, crazy. So moving on, I have the poetry of makeup, which I posted. It's all about doing your makeup to honor your features that you were given for a reason, all of your uniqueness. And it's about following the light and shade of your face, going into a shadowy space to see where light bounces and how you can do your makeup to honor that rather than conceal. Because makeup is a real beautiful art form, and it can really turn you into a chameleon. You can do all sorts of things with makeup. I love makeup. I always have. I've always experimented with it. I've always done wacky things with it. But I think when it comes down to it and you're just doing your makeup, say on an everyday basis, or like to enhance what you personally have, I think it's cool to have that as an option at least. You may not do it. I'm not saying this is how you do your makeup and that's it. Okay, so my microphone died because I'm a silly Billy and didn't charge it. By the way, I was really bored with this top, so I decided to put piercings all over it. Like, not piercings, but earrings. These are earrings as well. The whole lot's just earrings. Some of you might find that ridiculous, but I love it. And that is the essence of personal style. That's poetry of personal style. The video's over. Let's just have an intermission for a second, because nothing's really that serious, is it? We can have fun. Look at my phone case. It's got these little cats. My best friend went to Japan and she brought me back these stickers. And they're little cats, and I just peeled off all the ones that are pastries or desserts, and I put it all over my phone, and I just think it's the cutest thing ever, and I love it, and it makes me really happy. And that's my lock screen, a little bit about me. That's my law. That's my law. That's my core. Allow me to share my screen again. We're screen sharing again. While I was away, I was productive, promise. This is what I've come up with. This is what we're going to be talking about, because this video is completely unscripted, and I feel like if I don't do some kind of scripting, if I don't have some kind of bind on myself, I'm going to yap, and you guys are going to be like, shut the fuck up. To prevent that, I've come up with the next series of things that we're going to be talking about so that I'm not here for the next 10 years, because I will be. I love talking to you guys. I wanted to talk about the pivot towards narrative and law. We're seeing this a lot. Luxury fashion has always been rooted in some kind of narrative law. I'm thinking right now a lot about Rick Owens, just very distinctive styles where the styles are distinctive because there is a whole world created around it, and it's even created just through impressions, not this is what our story is, which I feel like as the creativity is kind of being drained and replaced by fast demand social media, there's not enough, it feels like there's not enough time to come up with more things that are a bit more, they're more impressions rather than point blank, this is the story. I got inspired by trees, so now my collection is branches and leaves. I feel like we're getting delivered very literal things and very face value things. That could be pushed by the popularity of authenticity online. That's become really popular, obviously, to be very, very real, very raw, very behind the scenes, very deconstructed. I think that potentially could have contributed to this literal sense that we get with art these days, where things are a little bit void of backstory, a little bit void of deeper meaning. And I do really love things that are a bit more tongue-in-cheek. They're a little bit more, as I said, that it's impressions of something that is open for interpretation, that's open for people to create their own ideas of things. So that's one thing where these brands that do have a very strong story and they do continue to do things that are less obvious, they really do stand out and people love it. Unfortunately, the dichotomy in this is the fact that to be seen online, you kind of do have to follow in some ways the trends and just do your own version of them, or be yourself but be marketable. And a lot of the times, true art isn't great for the market. It just can't be marketed very well because people half the time are like, what is this? I don't know what this is. And these days it's even harder to be that way inclined, because if people don't get it from face value, they will not want to get it. They'll just move on to the next thing. And that is, I think, this challenge that artists are being faced with in this digital age is it's not supposed to be as fast-paced as it is. The creative process, there are no time constraints on it. A project could take a day, sometimes it could take a week, sometimes it could take a month, years, decades, millennia. So if someone's like, give me your 30-second video now, it's like, on what? Help! And then feeling like you constantly have to create. I mean, we gotta slow down sometimes. We're not machines, we're people, we're intuitive, we're filled with love, we're unique, and we need that space to log off and to observe life from the outside, IRL, in real life. Come on. Come on. We create through real world experiences. You don't have to be an artist. I'm talking like in your job. Everyone is required to be creative in some way, shape, or form every day. Not in the most obvious ways all the time, unless you are literally in the arts, but we are called upon to create because we as humans are creative. All of us, we're storytellers naturally. We thrive on that. We connect through that. So we're always called to creativity, but we get stifled because we just get bombarded with too much information. TMI, the world. The world is TMI, too much information. Tell me less. Guys, I need to point out, I got the most amazing comment that I woke up to. This lovely, lovely, lovely human named Nicole sent me a beautiful comment, and I just want to spotlight it because I don't think she realizes how brilliant of timing this was, because I've been dealing with a lot of health issues lately. Another reason why I've been focusing in on my writing and not as present for long periods of time online. I'm having a really good day today, which is amazing. Alas. So that has really been making me feel down because obviously I feel very flat, very unwell. And there are so many things that I want to do. And I was getting caught up in that whole notion of I need to get things out and I need to get them out fast and I can't slow down because if I lose momentum, I'm going to lose traction. I'm never going to grow. I'm never going to be able to reach my goals in this industry that I'm going for, on top of everything else that I'm doing because I have my other jobs. All in all, I felt like an imposter to my own art. And not only that, I felt like an imposter to my own soul and my body and my mind and my spirit. And I am sure that a lot of people can relate to that because I think that's the world that gets built around us when we get caught up in overconsumption of media. We become strangers to our own bodies and minds, and that's really scary. It's like a hijack experience. I got this comment from beautiful Nicole, and one thing that really actually made me tear up this morning because this was the first thing I read when I woke up and logged on. The quote that made me tear up was from Vivienne Westwood that she mentioned, and it's, "Art should not be popular." And hearing those words felt like a warm hug of an affirmation, and it just completely lifted my mood for the day. And I was like, you know what? That's right. And I'm going to get up and I'm going to listen to my body. It brought me back into my own feet. And I listened to my body and I took things slow. And here we are making my first long video in a while. To you, Nicole, if you're watching, because you have no idea how much your comment helped me today. And the fact that you took the time to read the article and write something so beautiful and so well thought out, really, really, really does mean the world to me. So thank you. I think it's more important than ever to tell people that they're doing a good job when you like what they're putting out. And I don't know, these things, it's so easy to get swept away and feel like what you're doing isn't good enough or not right or useless. And it just takes that one comment, that one person, or even that one bit of self-talk for yourself to shift it and to realize that you can do whatever you want with this life. This is free reign. Do what you want to do. And who cares what other people think? And I think it's really important to have that even in your personal brand. What is your story? What's your story? Not what everyone else thinks of you or what you want people to think of you. What is your story? Point blank. What is it that brings you joy? What is it that feels the most you? What is it? And if you could create that story, if you feel like you don't have one yet, what would that story entail? What kind of characters, what kind of setting, what kind of visuals would be a part of that? And knowing that the only person you answer to in that is yourself. And that brings me to my next point, which is, who are you answering to? When you're creating or when you're showing up in the world, who are you answering to? Is it you or is it someone else? And I think that's an important question to ask yourself, particularly when you're creating, but also when you are, say, going in for a job interview, or you have some kind of deal, or you're talking to someone that you might be intimidated by. Who are you answering to? Are you answering to them? Are you answering to yourself? Or are you answering to the wider influence that you feel like you have to act a certain way to attract a certain demographic of people to you? What is it? It's one of those questions that I feel like is important to ask. And for the love of expression, who are you answering to when you are expressing yourself? And is it fulfilling something deeper in yourself that you at times cannot tap into? The deepest part of your being, your spirit, your soul. Who are you expressing for, and what are you trying to express? What is the story behind it? Because there's always a story behind something. And it can just be as simple as, I like this. But it's you. You like that. Cool. What is it about it that you like? And using that to really captain the ship of creating for yourself and for expressing yourself in whatever way feels good for you, and not having a question be, oh, but would they like this? Oh, but what will someone think about that? Will that make me look stupid? All of these things that can pull us away from our self-expression and put us back into this box. Forget about it. What do you want to do? And experiment with that in the comfort of your own space even. You don't have to go out necessarily and do these things, but if you can just start somewhere, I think that's really important. And it comes back to creating your own narrative and understanding what your story is. I think we should all have an understanding of our story. It gives us purpose. I think a lot of this overconsumption of social media and digital media really strips us of a purpose, because we get so used to going on our phones. Next time you find yourself in the middle of a doom scroll, try to think of the moment you picked up your phone. Do you remember? because hours pass and you're like, oh my gosh, when did I even pick up my phone? It's like that. When you go on apps like TikTok, when you go on apps like TikTok or you go on the Instagram Reels page, it's designed as an infinite scroll. It's designed to show you things that the algorithm wants you to see at that period of time. It's predicted your behavior already. It's predicted the way you're feeling or where you are, whatever. So for that, it sucks you in. And that's why you doom scroll so easily on these apps, because you're not going on there with a purpose. You're just going there to scroll. It's void of purpose. And the more we get addicted to that, the more we get conditioned to that, the less purpose we can start to feel in our real lives, our physical lives. It's this whole thing of reflection. The digital world reflects upon the physical world reflects upon the digital world, and somewhere things get a little bit muddied and lines get blurred and we can't tell which from which. And that's super scary. So understanding that will help you. I think it's about helping your mind to find an anchor point. We all need points of anchorage where we can draw back and we can say, okay, there are certain questions that I can ask myself to understand where I'm at and what I'm getting influenced by. Next, I'm going to be talking about texture, layers, and structure. This is going into the fashion aspect of things. And it's about the playful nature that I feel like should be brought back in. You can really tell online with some of my favorite creators when they're experimenting. Let me show you one of my favorite creators. For example, Jessie Regina on Instagram. I absolutely adore her style. I think it's so eclectic. I love the textures, I love the layers, I love the silhouette, the structure of the way she puts things together. I think it's so her. You can tell that she's just in her element and she is just inherently chic and cool, and it, for me, I love, love, love her. I think she's just got it going on. She's amazing. You can tell that there's so much joy, there's so much play in it. I think it's that childlike play that really, really is beautiful to see displayed online, because at times it can become rare to see when there's this emphasis on micro trends or certain ways of presenting yourself online. We're seeing people talk the same way, structure their videos the same way, and it's awesome to be inspired, but I always think you should bring it back to why is it working for you, and is there something else that you could come up with that would work even better for you, that is more tailored to you and the story that you're trying to tell. And if that's the best mode of communication, awesome, and if you can find something else, awesome as well. We all pick from each other, so it's not about you have to come up with every idea yourself, because every idea stems from somewhere. It's all already been done before. But it's like, what is your mode of expression? One thing that I love is looking at your pieces in your wardrobe, and my favorite activity to do is look at certain items of clothing and ask, what can I do with these items of clothing? How am I going to wear a jacket not as a jacket? What else could it be worn as? And it's not always practical. You're not always going to wear these things out, because sometimes they are silly and sometimes they don't feel comfortable, but it totally lets your guard down and gives you creative freedom and allows you to just play like a kid. There's no strings attached. There's no consequences. You can just play as if you're playing in a parent's wardrobe. And I think that's really cool. So for example, I posted not too long ago, I'd cut up a pair of old jeans and turned it into a top. And then I'd taken a trench coat and I'd worn it as a skirt over the top of some baggy black jeans to really puff out the silhouette. And I was really experimenting in that week with different silhouettes and ways in which you can wear things and experiment with textures and form. And I think it was really cool. I think instead of always consuming digital like videos and short form content, I think it's really, really important to consume more traditional forms of media. Read articles. Go on Substack, for example. There are amazing writers on Substack. I will mention one actually in regards to garments and texture and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, consume different forms of media. Read some articles. Read some books. Go to the library. Go research online. There are so many amazing platforms that present you with all the information that you could possibly need on any subject. Use that to your advantage. Do some digging. It doesn't matter if it doesn't lead anywhere. Not everything has to have a monetary outcome attached to it. Do it for your own self. I mean, I feel most alive when I'm in the thick of some kind of research project. I felt so alive last week in doing this essay, writing this essay up and doing all the research for that, even though I was just like not feeling well through the whole thing. It felt so rewarding. It gave me a sense of purpose, and that's it. It's just done out in the world, and that's it. That's full stop. It doesn't have to be more than that. And if we can do more of that and have less expectations on ourselves, I think we'll all be a lot more creatively in tune and a lot more in tune with our emotions and who we are as individuals, unique individuals. Before we move on to the next topic, I just wanted to give a mention to textile archaeology on Substack. They delve into textile discoveries from prehistory to present day, and what they find is incredible. I mean, look at this. This is a 4,000-year-old Egyptian garment. I mean, unbelievable. Nothing really seems that revolutionary in modern day when you look back at this. I mean, look how modern this looks. Dated 1370 BC, making it close to 3,500 years old. I'm just in love. I mean, look at that. Look at the tent, look at the working on that. There are just the most amazing details and discoveries on this Substack. I have to delve into all of these posts because even just the ones that I've seen so far, I've been absolutely mesmerized. So go check out Textile Archaeology if you haven't already. Going into my final little piece of this puzzle today, it's designer mentions. I specifically wanted to focus around structure for these designers. When I wrote down these designers, I really wanted to find people who were playing around with silhouette and structure, because I really find that is, for me, the best way to get into my creative mood when I'm looking at clothes that I already have and thinking, how am I going to style this? How am I going to make this look different? It's always down to the silhouette for me. I love playing with it so much. So let's have a look. First up, we've got Graceling Official on Instagram. She's done some incredible work. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This was posted in September of last year, but I wanted to just go back and reference because just the structure, I just absolutely adore the shapes, the silhouettes. Beautiful, beautiful collection. It was Graceling Spring Summer 2025, so last year. The bird's nest dress from this collection, guys, I mean, I literally just wear this to the supermarket. I don't care. I love it. 10,000 hours of work. Okay, now we have Bad Binch Tong Tong. Look at this. Again, these are all very structural, dealing with different shapes and materials. I think this is super cool. I really do. I think it's really cool. I mean, it's just playful. And I know that people cast hate, oh, that's so not practical. It's like, not everything does need to be practical. And I think this is just play. You can tell this is just playful. It's creativity at its finest, and it's eye-catching. I dig it. I really, really dig it. again, with the textures and with the silhouettes. If you're going to be online, I just think the more you can curate your experience and see the things that are going to bring you joy and make you feel part of a bigger community of creators, of people doing their thing, of expressing themselves in an authentic way, I think that's the best way you can possibly be online, because I don't think it's about avoiding things anymore. I think it's about fine-tuning and having some self-discipline in the way that you approach social media, in the way that you approach these things. That can be a great form of escapism, but not all the time. We need to have lines, we need to have boundaries, and we just need to consume things that make us feel happy and inspired. I mean, wow. Charmyoung, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Another archive of amazing work. Really cool. Really cool. I just think there's so much play, and this is it. This is what it's all about. This is what it's about. It's about playing around. It's not too serious. I think that's where the best work can come out. Then we have Bella Davies, another designer that really works with texture and silhouette and structure. Wow, like so cool. So cool. Look at this. I love it. I love it so much. All the details, based in Sydney as well, and incredible. The designers here in Sydney that are graduating at fashion school, like releasing their graduation collections and all that kind of stuff and continuing to create onwards. Oh my goodness, so incredible. Wow, this is just me for the rest of the video. Just wow. Amazing. Oh, I love that so much. These are just divine. Oh, and those are my mentions. And with that, here comes the end of the video. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I had the most fun time chatting with you. I had the most fun. And it was really cool to sit down and film this and just have it a little bit less structured than my essay, because I wrote so many notes and I had so many different references and I did so much research that it was mind numbing by the end of it. Thank you so much for being here. If you've stuck around to the end of this video, oh boy, thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this discussion, and please feel free to open up the discussion in the comments. Let's have a chat about it. How do you feel about this? What are your thoughts? How do you express yourself? Thank you again, and I suppose I'll talk to you soon. Also, let me know what you want to see, what topics you want me to talk about, everything. Okay, I'm gonna go because I'm tired. I'm still not very well, so I need to drink some water and like go lay down or something, but I do it for you. Mwah! I love you so much. I also need to fix this thumb, paint this again because the nail polish came off and I was really sad about it, but what does that have to do with anything? Nothing. But I love you and I'll talk to you soon. Mwah. Baci e ciao. Bye. And goodbye to you. This is a story I got inspired by trees. So now my collection is branches and leaves.